welcome to the show. This is hashtag Reality with Ashley. Today we'll be in conversation with the ANC veteran who's also a party leader of the latest formed political party in South Africa named ARETA. As you see, I'm also with my guy by the name of Tash Mala, who's also going to be the host of the show. Can you also please make an introduction of yourself, sir?
Let's welcome ourselves in this gathering. It's a good one. It's a good one, actually.
Yes.
It's a good one because now you see our country, how things are happening, how politically, socially, and today we are having Mr. Carl also.
That's great. That's great.
To iron out some of the stuff. It's amazing.
That's great. So you know, as the people they already see that we are with Mr. Carl, who's also ANC veteran. Mr. Carl, the people of South Africa, they've been known you as an ANC member, who's one of the biggest ANC member in South Africa. And then on top of that, I just want to ask you, why you formed your own political party named ARETA?
Well, let me first of all say thank you for the invitation to participate in this program. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for honoring me to also come to my house.
That's
I appreciate that. Let me start off by saying, yes, of course, I've been a member of the ANC for 43 years.
Oh.
But in December last year, that came to an end because it reached a point where I said, this organization that I originally joined many years ago, when I was 19 years old, is no longer the same organization. That ANC that I joined, that was committed to full liberation of our people, that cared for our people, is not the organization I know now. I tried very, very hard within the ANC to change it. But it became clear to me at the 55th National Conference of the ANC that this is really no longer possible. I'm dealing here with a dead carcass.
How?
So I said, let me resign. And then I consulted with many people in South Africa. I'm sure you know that I've got a big Twitter space called In My Crosshairs.
We saw that.
And we consulted with the people who participate on that space. More than 20,000 people participated that night when we talked. And we said, let's start a political movement. A movement that must try to come back to the original ideals of the African National Congress that we originally joined. Not, as I say, this dead thing that now exists and is following a new liberal economic policy program under Cyril Ramaphosa. So we decided that we must start this movement. And let me emphasize to you, at this stage, it's not yet a political party. We call it, at this stage, a non-profit organization. We registered as a non-profit organization and as an NPC, a non-profit company. Because we want to be able to reach out to all the left progressive political parties in South Africa, ATM, EFF, the Pan-Africanist Congress, BLF, all of them. We want to say to them, let's work together. Let's get a program of what we call a minimum program of action to support radical economic transformation, to bring us together so that also next year, in the 2024 elections, we can challenge this sell-out ANC that we have now. So just to finish that part, while we're not yet a political party, we may decide if our membership say to us, we want you to also register as a political party, we may decide to do so. But we leave that in the hands of our membership. We haven't yet taken that decision.
That's great. I see that. But then in future it's going to be a political party.
Possibly. Then remember, I'm saying the membership will have to decide. So we are waiting to hear what the members are saying, whether they say keep going as an NPO or go and register with the IEC also as a political.
That's great, Mr. Khan. Like as you say, currently still an NPO. So I just want to understand that, like as you said, in future it's going to be a political party. So who's going to fund that a political party named ARETA in future?
Yeah, well, ARETA, it stands for the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance.
Yes.
What we've said is we don't want to be funded by one big funder. Because you know the old story, if one person gives you a lot of money,
Yes.
that business person, man or woman, will want to try and control.
Yes.
We must understand that truth, that there's no such thing as a free lunch.
That's great.
There's never such a
That's
thing.
great.
So we want a diversity of funders.
Yes.
So that we can say to all of them, look, you contribute, but you cannot prescribe to us.
Yes.
And we want to be very clear to them, very upfront.
Yeah.
These are our policies. You fund us knowing what our policies are.
That's
You
great.
cannot come and tell us, when you funded us, we must change our policies, because we're not going to do so. We're also asking everyone who sign up as a member to pay a small membership fee for 2 years.
Yes.
50 rand.
Yes.
And we've said we know that a very large part of our membership
Yes.
will be unemployed people, because we're reaching out to the poor.
Okay.
We are a pro-poor organization.
That's great.
So we said the unemployed people will only have to pay 20 rands. And then if anyone beyond that wants to make a contribution on our website, they can go in. They can do it through a debit order.
Yes.
They can make their contribution, whether it's a once-off contribution or a regular monthly contribution, that's up to them.
Okay. So,
But what we would try to do, it's not easy in South Africa to do it, but we want to do crowdfunding.
that's
So
great.
that we got a large base of people putting small amounts of money, but it will count up to a substantial amount of money, because we feel if everyone who's a member makes a small contribution,
Yes.
those members will feel that they've got a stake.
Yes.
They have an interest
Yes.
because they made their contribution.
Yes.
Okay.
And it must be a people's organization, and it must be mass-based, and it must be represented throughout the country, in every province, in every region. In fact, eventually we want it to go down to every municipality in the country.
That's great, Mr. Khan. So I just want you, Mr. Malak, to say something.
Actually, it's a pity. It's a pity because now I can see the movement.
Yes.
How Mr. Carl is explaining this.
Yes.
This movement.
Yes.
It's a radical movement, but it's a good one also.
Yes.
But I want us to go back.
Yeah.
Let's look back. Isn't that, Mr. Carl, you guys fought for the freedom. You guys have been in the struggle for us to have this freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So let's go back that 43 years ago when you were 19, when we were joining the movement, the ANC movement. I think you were very much brave. I think you were very much brave as a white man, joining the movement dominated by blacks, and you were brave going in and saying, this is the party that actually makes sense to me. I'm joining it as a white man. I think that was brave. I think it was brave. So I wanna thank you for that. I wanna thank you for that. But now, 43, and I check, 43 years. Now we are on 2023, 2022, and then you said, no, man, this movement is no longer the same. It raised a question to me to say, okay, is it the people inside that you were working with, or is the people that departed, or the people that left the organization, people like, I can give example, like people like Malema, who left the organization, people like the COPE leader who left the organization also, they are all from the ANC. Now you also leaving the organization, now starting a new journey. So now, why now? Why not
Earlier.
Yes.
It's a valid question. And I've always said, when people say to me, but why leave the organization? My first response is, I haven't left the ANC left me.
Oh.
It went in a totally different direction. from what I was committed to. But I did try for many years inside the ANC to change the ANC.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know my history. You know that I've been fighting inside the ANC. I've been raising my concerns about Cyril Ramaphosa. I've been raising my concerns about neoliberal economic policies. The fact that we are not returning the land to the people. The fact that we are not implementing what was the official economic policy program of the ANC, Radical Economic Transformation. Remember in 2017, at the 54th National Conference, the ANC took a firm decision for radical economic transformation. That official economic policy program said there must be a return of the land to the people without compensation. The Reserve Bank must be nationalized. The financial institutions must be restructured so that it can give more resources to young people who want to be entrepreneurs. None of those things happened. So I kept on complaining. I kept on raising my concerns. I'm sure you saw many of the interviews that I made. The fights that I had with the ANC leadership saying, guys, you are betraying us. I started to the call 2 years ago that Cyril Ramaphosa must go. I'm sure you saw me protesting sometimes even on my own outside the ANC NEC meetings. So it is not suddenly. It was not a sudden decision. It was a long process. And that's why I said before, I tried my very best. Inside the organization to convince the members of the ANC to change. But I failed.
That's great.
Sadly, I failed. But I still believe that there are many good people in the ANC. I still believe that the ordinary grassroots members of the ANC are people who are committed to these ideas. It's the leadership that messed up this organization. So this organization that we formed now, the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance, we're making a call to those comrades inside the ANC who say we are committed to the same ideals. We say to them, join us. Come and work with us. Ultimately, we all have a very, very serious duty to make sure that our country is saved. You know, if you look at the statistics, it's a disaster. 36.5% of all South Africans are unemployed. That means 1 in every 3 South Africans are unemployed. That is the highest unemployment figure in the world. There's no other country that has a higher unemployment figure. Then look at the disaster that we have with load shedding. Even today, when you came into my apartment, the first question you ask is, have you looked at the load shedding schedule? We're worried that in the middle of the interview, the lights will go off. We can't live like that. There are young people who want to study at night. They don't have lights. They have to try and study by candlelight. There are ill people who need medical treatment, who need oxygen. There are those who've got kidney problems, they need dialysis. The machines that give them that treatment, that save their lives, the machine go off. There are many people who have died already because of load shedding. So this is unacceptable. We must change this country, and this government is failing our people.
That's good. So, Mr. Kane, now I just want to understand the speciality. I just want you to share with us the speciality of your NPO. So, I want you to tell us, like, what's so special about your NPO, and why should the people of South Africa join your NPO?
And highlight also the 10 points that you indicated. Because I think they are very vital.
The organization, as I say, is built on the radical economic transformation. Now, the foundation of radical economic transformation is the expropriation of the land without compensation. That was what was the foundation of our liberation struggle.
Is it possible though? Is it possible?
Yes, I'll come back to that. That foundation was the foundation of our liberation struggle.
Yes.
Because it was the white colonists who stole the land at gunpoint from the people.
Yeah.
So we must nationalize that land. We must give it as a resource to the people. And
Yes.
it is possible to do that.
Yeah.
What we forget sometimes,
Yeah.
there are many other countries
There are many.
that have nationalized land.
Yes.
And you only think that these are radical socialist and communist countries.
Yeah.
The land in the United Kingdom, which is considered to be not even a radical country, is nationalized.
Yeah.
It is therefore then made available to people to farm, to build, to do business, but it belongs to the state.
Oh, okay.
The same thing we can do in South Africa.
Yeah.
Beyond that, our 10-point plan is, yes, the return of the land to the people, the nationalization of the South African Reserve Bank.
Yeah.
You know,
That's point
we've
number
got
2,
this
yes.
strange thing that there are private shareholders of the South African Reserve Bank.
Yes.
It's crazy. And some of those shareholders are not even living in South Africa, they live in Europe.
Why is our economy
But I don't know
still
why
in the
we
hand?
allowed this to happen,
Yeah.
but that is the reality.
Yes.
The problem is that at the same time, the only thing the South African Reserve Bank does is inflation targeting.
Yes.
It doesn't work for economic growth.
Yes.
It doesn't follow policies for job creation. And we need to have control of the Reserve Bank so that we can change the policy program, the duty that the South African Reserve Bank has. Now, it is quite possible to do that. It's not going to be a very expensive exercise to pay for those shares.
Yes.
I know that this government and Ramaphosa and the governor says it will cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
It will cost about 40 million rands.
Oh.
That's small money in the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah.
But it will make a huge difference.
Yes.
Then we said, as part of the 10-point plan,
Yes.
we must now implement the national health plan.
Yeah.
But it must concentrate on primary health care.
Yeah.
And we must create a pharmaceutical company, a state pharmaceutical company.
Yes.
Because you saw what happened during COVID-19.
Yes, we saw that.
When we wanted a vaccine, we went to the Western European and United States
Yes.
It was
for
a
the
kind of-
vaccine. We became the experiment for that vaccine. They tested that vaccine on our people here
Yeah.
before it was rolled out in Europe and in the United States. So we need a pharmaceutical company that will bring down prices and make sure that our people get quality medicine.
That's great.
We also need to bring an end to load shedding.
Yes.
It can't.
That's a crisis,
ESCOM is being deliberately mismanaged.
Yeah.
It is not because it's inevitable to stop
Yes.
load shedding. The crisis in ESCOM is human-made.
Yes.
And the reason for it is because we went and told the Western Europeans and the Americans, we will bring in independent power producers, so-called green energy and sustainable energy, while our most important resource for energy is coal.
It's cold, yes.
Yes.
We have got some of the biggest coal resources in the world. In fact, we've got enough coal resources to keep this country going for over 200 years.
Yeah.
But instead, what do? We export our highest quality coal
Yeah.
to Europe because there's now this crisis because of the war that Russia and Ukraine is having.
Ukraine stuff.
Now the Russian gas supply to Germany, France and the United Kingdom has been interrupted.
Yeah.
They went back to coal. We are taking our high-grade coal and export it to them while we throw rubbish coal into the furnaces of our coal power stations.
You know, it's not.
And the consequences of that is our power stations are collapsing, they are malfunctioning, we end up in this crisis because, why? Because Ramaphosa and his friends, including Patrice Motsepe, have now gone and signed agreements for independent power producers. And ESCOM is ending up paying billions of rands to those independent power producers. But I can tell you, while they get paid, they have not added one megawatt to our electricity supply. So we're being robbed.
How?
This is unmitigated
Immense.
looting that's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it is a human-made crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
And that crisis can be addressed. That's why we say, stop now with this coal exports, nationalize our coal resource,
Yeah.
make sure that coal is the base of our energy security and supply, and we will fix this problem. On top of that, we say, as part of this 10-point plan,
Yeah.
let's also introduce national service.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Not because we want all young people to go into the army,
Yes.
but we want them to be called up to work in programs for civil engineering,
yes,
for the
yes.
building of roads,
Because there are many categories.
and many places
yeah,
where
yeah,
they can
yeah,
make
yeah,
a contribution. If you
yeah.
look at the disaster that young people are faced with in our country,
Yeah.
students in rural areas, you know those videos of them having to try and walk through full rivers. There's no roads. The schools are in a bad state. All
I
of
was
those
at
things.
home.
And you know, I mean, you are young people.
Yes.
You know the crisis that there is with unemployment.
Yes.
And you know that part of the problem is then there's drug abuse, then there's teenage pregnancies. Young people feel that they've got no hope.
Yeah.
They don't see light at the end of the horizon.
Yeah.
So they say, we give up. Now we say with national service, they will be given an opportunity to get trained.
Okay. Yeah.
And that training
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
skills transfer will help them in
development,
the future
actually.
to be able to have a job,
Yeah,
to be able to be
development.
disciplined, and to be able to then make a contribution to our country. So that's the national service side. Then we said we need to deal with this issue of our borders.
Okay.
Because we can't have a situation that we have undocumented illegal foreigners here all over the country, taking jobs that South Africans should have, and yet they are illegal. We're not against people who are illegal asylum seekers.
Yes.
We're not xenophobic. We're not
Yeah, yeah,
anti-African people. Not at all.
Yeah. So,
But we say we must control our borders because there's a simple rule.
yes.
I have only so much food in my cupboard. I've only got so much groceries there and in my fridge.
Yeah.
If everyone in this building, I'm living in an apartment building, suddenly comes and want to live here,
Yeah.
I won't have anything.
I
won't be able to take care of those other people who come in here. So there's a simple rule.
Yeah.
Charity starts at home.
Yes.
Yes.
So we say strengthen border control, and those foreigners who are illegal and undocumented, they have to go. They will have to leave the country.
Okay.
And then we say crime is a major problem. You know, especially serious crime. You looked at the statistics that Minister Beki Tele announced 4 days ago. 98% increase in rape.
Yeah.
The highest murder rate in the world. Some of the highest percentages of violent crimes in the world. So we say stronger sentences.
Yeah.
And in fact, those who commit those crimes must not automatically be able to get parole. We can't have someone being sentenced today and 2 years later that person is out when they've committed serious crimes. And we say, let's have a referendum
Yeah.
on the death sentence.
Yes.
Because there are such serious crimes that we must certainly ask our people, don't you think we should consider the reintroduction of the death sentence? And then finally, I know you want to ask other questions, but you asked me about the 10-point plan.
The 10-point plan.
So let me just let me finish the last.
Okay.
We have a big
I like the 10-point plan because it's got everything covered.
I'm finishing with it now.
Yes.
The final one is lower fuel prices. Because the high fuel price impacts on all the cost of living. And we say it's possible now. Because if we engage with our BRICS partners, especially Russia. Russia has got a lot of gas, it's got a lot of fuel. And another country such as Venezuela in Latin America It's got a lot of oil. In fact, it's got the largest oil reserves in the world. We can engage with those countries, lower the fuel price, and by lowering the fuel price, we surely can generally lower the cost of living. So yeah, sorry, it was a bit long. But
No,
that's the
don't
take
worry,
home
it's your
point.
It's the 10 point.
This
It's the 10
is
point.
the point.
This
You
podium
asked
is
me
yours.
about it, that's the thing.
Yes.
So the podium is yours. You must feel free to articulate anything you want to say. But then, as you mentioned, I just want to ask something, because those 10 points of your NPO are more similar to 7 cardinal pillars of EFF. I just want to ask you why are it seems like are more similar to those 7 cardinal pillars of EFF. Can you maybe share with us about
No, look, it's not exactly the same,
Yes.
first of all.
because
Secondly, there's nothing wrong if there's overlap.
okay.
Yeah.
Because remember what I said to you earlier, we want to build a minimum program of action. It's actually a good thing when there's overlap, because we can work together.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
I'm not here to
With the
complete-
same plan.
The
Yes.
EFF is not my enemy.
Same mandate.
I'm not here to complete
Yeah.
the
Yes,
EFF.
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I think most of the supporters that will come to the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance
Yes.
will come from the ANC.
From
And those are people who are not at the moment in the EFF.
in the EFF.
Yes.
Yes.
But we will be able to say to the people of the EFF, the ATM,
Yeah,
Pan-Africanist
yeah,
Congress,
yeah.
Bantu Olomisa's
Yeah.
United Democratic Movement, guys, let's work together on this plan.
Yeah.
And we can all become one united force. And if we are united, we are strong. If we are divided, we are weak.
We are weak.
When we are united, we will be able next year to challenge the ANC.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you, people are tired of the ANC. If you go into communities, people in the community say, hey, those guys mustn't come here.
Yeah.
You saw the other day in Umlazi, when there was a
yeah,
by-election,
yeah.
Yes,
the
we saw
ANC campaigners came there.
Yeah.
Look, people were throwing them with bricks and stones
Yeah,
and pavement things, everything.
Yeah.
So people are tired.
People are tired.
They feel betrayed by the ANC.
Yeah.
So I think the ANC next year is going to fall way under 50%.
How?
Yeah. It is
It will. If you look at the opinion polls,
Yeah.
it may even go down under 40.
Yes.
Now, when that happens, if we can form this united coalition
Yeah.
of parties that agree on this minimum program of action for radical economic transformation,
Yeah.
we can become government.
Exactly.
And we can change people's lives, because the one important thing that I also said at the launch last Thursday,
Yeah.
whatever we say,
Yeah.
we must make sure we can do it. We mustn't come and pay lip service. We mustn't make empty promises. People are tired of empty promises. You know what people tell us when we go to the townships? They say, the ANC comes here every 4 or 5 years.
Make
We
empty
never see them
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah.
The councillors for local government, as soon as they get elected
Yeah.
as councillors, they leave the township.
Oh.
They go and live in the
Suburbs.
middle class suburbs. They say, we only see these guys when they want our vote.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they don't
They
do
disappear.
anything
They
for us.
disappear.
Now,
They disappear.
that is what we must avoid.
Which is a pity.
So we must reach out and say, guys, this is what we possibly can do.
Yeah.
Tonight on my Twitter space, from 5 o'clock onwards, I'm talking about how we are going to roll out
No.
this plan in the communities. And I've invited, there are other political parties and organizations that have already said they are joining us. There's a group in Alexandra called Men at Work.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another party in KZN, which is a radical political organization.
Yeah, really
They
good.
said, we are joining.
Yeah.
We are going to be part of this African Radical Economic Transformation
great.
Alliance. And I've asked those leaders to join me tonight to come and say how we're going to make practical decisions to serve our people, and how we are going to stop making empty promises
Yeah,
and promises that can. You know, if you go to Alex, people will tell you Cyril Ramaphosa came there. He promised them 1 million houses.
How?
You know that? Yeah, he did. It was all over television.
Okay.
Especially
Now,
at the time of
tell me, how many of that 1 million houses? That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How many of those houses have been built? Law.
You know,
2 years
He
later.
also once promised us that he's going to build a city. Where is that city?
I don't know, it was going to be a hyper
He always makes
city
promises, that
with
one.
a lot of, it was going to be a smart city, it was going to have bullet trains. I can still remember him going on.
Yes,
You remember he stood in Parliament, he said, there's going to be a bullet train. Yeah? Where is it?
you know,
Where is it?
Mr. Kanye.
But he told us he's going to create 1 million jobs. That was a year ago. I'm going to create 1 million jobs.
Yeah.
Where's the jobs?
Since 2018.
Today, we have less jobs in this country than a year ago. So, you know what is the problem with Cyril Ramaphosa?
We don't know.
Do you know when he lies?
I don't know.
When his lips move.
When
Cyril Ramaphosa's lips move,
he
lies.
I'm coming to that point.
That guy,
I'm coming to that
that
point.
guy lives a lie.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
I'm coming to that point.
But anyhow, I don't want to talk too much about him. I want to talk about what we
movement.
want to do.
Yes,
and
yes,
what
the
our
movement.
Yes, because we want more on
the
ARETA.
movement. Yeah, because now, actually, when I check, the 10 points that we have mentioned, but they lead me back to one point: corruption.
Corruption.
You look at the issue of ESCOM.
Yeah.
What is happening with ESCOM now? We can't be changing CEOs and like that, but the problem still stand. You
Imagine,
see,
I saw something that they already have 10 CEOs.
automatically, it tells me that there is a problem
they had
inside.
13 CEOs
Is
in
13?
10
You see?
13 in 10 years.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
You see, so now when we talk about that and we go to the crime that he has mentioned,
Yeah.
also today you find someone being arrested, tomorrow is out. Like it's basically corruption. And when coming to corruption,
Yes.
how do we deal with this thing? How do we deal?
You see, the issue of corruption is a complicated thing.
Yes.
First of all, yes, we must fight corruption.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I cannot agree more with you. But we must understand how white monopoly capital and the ideologues of white monopoly capital has used corruption to use it as a tar brush to damage all black and African South Africans.
Yeah.
Because the image they create is that the only people who are corrupt in this country are black and African. Now I ask myself, when there is a tender out,
Yeah.
is it only government and is it only the black South Africans and black administrators in government that get involved in the corruption of that tender if there's corruption? What about the private sector? And the majority of that private sector are white.
Yeah, and there are ones
So we never hear about
who are
white
benefit.
corruption.
They're the ones who are benefiting.
We never hear who pays the money.
Because they always
no,
want to
wait.
put us-
Who pays the money to those administrators in government and corrupt them?
Oh.
Those white monopoly capitalists.
It's the white man.
They
It's
never
the white man.
Look at the biggest corrupt person in this country. Who was it?
You know,
No. Listen.
No, we want to know him.
Yeah. It was a white man
it's a
who ran a company
Yeah.
which was built on furniture and all kinds of construction.
Yeah.
Over a couple of billion rands disappeared. Involved in that company was Christo Wiese, one of the big business people in this country. All of them were involved. Up to this day, none of them are in jail.
No.
None of them have been arrested. None of them appeared in front of
The court, yes.
No, not just court, in front of this commission of inquiry.
Inquiry, yeah.
No, none of them.
Yeah.
They're not there,
Was
but they were corrupt.
was
But on our side, when you talk about government, talk about black people, they get arraigned in front of that commission. They get called corrupt. Whether they have been proven that they are corrupt or not. Look what happened to Brian Molefe. Brian Molefe is pulled in front of that Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. The same with Marcelo Koko. Today the cases are falling apart. The allegations that came out of that Commission of Inquiry into State Capture cannot stand. But they've already had their careers destroyed. But Steinhoff, because that is the company I was referring to, which was the biggest corporate corrupt thing that happened in this country. Steinhoff, where are they? Where's Marius Jooste? Marius Jooste, who was the CEO of Steinhoff, today he's still walking free. He's sitting nicely on the beach in Hermanus. He's got one of the most beautiful houses there in Hermanus. He's enjoying himself. But other people's lives have been destroyed. So what I'm saying to you is, yes, let's fight corruption.
Yes.
But let's fight corruption overall. Not selectively, and don't use corruption to destroy black managers, black business people, and white people get a go-free card. Because we are not busy with a monopoly game. They can't give white people a go-free card, and black and African people, you say you are responsible. You are the people who are corrupt. That is the narrative that is now being perpetuated in this country by the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. That is the narrative that Cyril Ramaphosa and also the Chief Justice Zondo is perpetuating. We need to now address those issues, and we must say, let those guys like the people from Steinhoff, Marius Jooste, Christo Wiese, all of them, let them face the music. In the same way that everyone else who they call corrupt must face the music. Then there's another story. They say it was only during the 9 years of President Zuma that there was state capture.
I want to get to that.
No, they say that. But state capture goes back centuries into our history. The colonists who come to South Africa captured this country through having stolen the land. They've taken the land away from the indigenous people, the African people. They did it at gunpoint.
They robbed us.
I've said many times the whites get angry with me. I said to them, you know, King Dengane, when he made in Umgungundlovu the call, when Piet Retief and his group was there inside the royal crown, and he said, kill the wizards, and they killed them. I said, King Dengane was right. He was right to kill those people because they were there to steal the land.
Yes, it's true.
So King Dengane was correct.
It's true.
So now we are faced with this situation. How do we return the land? How do we return? That comes to your question, my friend. Is it possible? Yes. By nationalizing the land, putting it under state control, and then you allow people to use the land effectively for business, for agriculture, for whatever they want to do, but the state is the ultimate owner on behalf of the people of the land. And as I've said to you, that is not something so terribly radical. It is in many other countries that is the case. The same thing about ownership of the minerals. Already we are supposed to have ownership of our minerals. The wealth under the soil is supposed to be a national asset. But we allow Glencore and all these companies just to take our resources and do with it as they wish. Because we are not controlling these companies and making sure that they serve our people. Why was Brian Molefe being attacked when he was CEO of Eskom? Because he was attacking Glencore. He was attacking those big white monopoly companies. He was saying to them, but guys, you come here and you say you've got a so-called evergreen contract to supply coal. That contract is 40 years of guaranteed supply
Yeah.
at a price which is way above the market price. He said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I am going to now allow other companies to come in and bid on a competitive basis for supplying coal. He had to go. At that moment, all the long knives were out and they had to destroy Brian.
Yeah.
And this is the situation that we faced with. You know, the majority of black and African people in this
Have been
country,
destroyed.
through the propaganda in the monopoly capitalist newspapers, the mainstream media, the majority of people are being subjected to so much propaganda that they start turning on their own people. They start believing that those who are their own people are the enemy. And they start believing that these white monopoly capitalist companies are their friends. Now that is a disaster.
It's a disaster indeed.
And because that is what propaganda does. It prevents you from being able to distinguish who's your enemy and who's your friend.
Yes.
And they make you turn on those who actually your friends, who want to work for the advancement of the majority of South Africans and destroy them.
To control.
That is what we see.
You know,
in South Africa now,
know-
we see how Cyril Ramaphosa is being used as an agent of white monopoly capitalism.
Really?
Yeah. Because now.
Well, why do you ask me?
Because I want to know, because it seems like there is more.
Just look for a moment how Ramaphosa conducts himself and tell me, is he caring for the majority of black people in this country? You stand up in the SONA, in the State of the Nation address. Listen to this. The soul of the African people is not defined by our mountains and our rivers, our trees, our wide plantations. We are defined by hope. Poppycock, man. The majority, the soul of African people is defined by the land.
Yes.
Who's this man who come and talk? Is black, but he talks white language.
He talks white.
He's talking white language.
He's a white man,
Said
actually.
So, you know, this is what angers me.
I know.
Because this guy has been used by white monopoly capitalists and colonists. They have infiltrated him into the ANC over decades. They eventually, because they gave him enough billions, he could corruptly buy the presidency. And today, what is he doing? He's delivering to white monopoly capitalism. Every time he has to take a big decision, whether it's about ESCOM, whether it's about the future of our country, in any way, whether it's about big international loans, where does he go to? Whoop, off to America to talk to Biden, off to the United Kingdom to talk to the leaders of the United Kingdom, off to the G7 to talk to them. He has to ask his masters all the time for permission for everything he does. Who was the first person that Cyril Ramaphosa went to visit after he became president of this country? He rushed off to the United States of America to meet who? George Soros. Who's George Soros? George Soros is one of the richest white people in the world, who runs the Open Society Foundation, which was one of the biggest funders of Cyril Ramaphosa's election campaign, who was the biggest funder of the Save South Africa, so-called Save South Africa campaign, when all those whites were out in the streets with posters saying Zuma must go. That was George Soros. Now, who's Ramaphosa's big friend that he first have to go and meet after he becomes president? George Soros.
How?
You can look at the photos. Google it. You'll find.
I know you still have the last question for Mr. Carl. But now, I just want to ask him the quick one. I'm not gonna put you on the hot seat, Mr. Carl.
You can put me there.
Yes.
I'm used to the hot seat.
Okay. Was Zuma corrupt? As a yes and no answer.
I'm not going to give you a yes and no answer because that is what the white monopoly capitalist media wants to do. That is the wrong approach, my friend.
Yeah.
President, no. Wait. This is an important question.
Yes.
I was there in Polokwane in 2007 when President Zuma was elected as president of the ANC. For the first time, we got a president who said this new liberal project that was introduced by Mandela, that was strengthened by Thabo Mbeki, has to change. And he tried to change it. He tried to get the empowerment of especially medium and small black business owners. He tried to have the increase of a free education for young black students.
Students, yes.
He tried. But the moment he started, he was under attack. From the first moment that he was elected, he was being attacked. And he was attacked.
I think I have the answer.
No. Listen,
yes.
he was being attacked not in the first instance because he's so-called corrupt. But because of the policy positions that he was taking. Now suddenly, all these guys there in Western Europe and in United States said, oh, what's going on? We worked so hard to have that plan. To have all these sellouts who's running South Africa. And here out of the blue comes this man from Nkandla. And he's upsetting our plan. We must get rid of him. And they started attacking. They started calling him corrupt. Now, I'm not going to... even if President Zuma made some mistakes. And all of us are human and all of us make
he's a human being.
But I am not going to entertain the corruption narrative against President Zuma. It is nonsense. The reason why President Zuma was under attack and the reason why Cyril Ramaphosa, after he became president of the ANC, which he corruptly bought through the CR17 campaign and all those closed bank statements that are still closed because his chums are the lawyers and the judges. When he had done that, he then had to force President Zuma out of the presidency early in 2018. And that is the real true story. Not this nonsense that Zuma was corrupt. You know the Sunday Times? They published a story when President Zuma was still president. First, they told us a story that Duduzane Zuma has got a mansion in Dubai.
In Dubai, yes.
They published a photo for us there. The whole front page. It was a mansion there. Then a few weeks later, when they now think they finished with Duduzane, now President Zuma has got a mansion in Dubai. They published the same photo. Then when we went and did investigation, we found out, but no, this doesn't belong to President Zuma. It doesn't belong to Duduzane. It's a guest house in Dubai. The Sunday Times were even forced to apologize about that story. But they printed the story on the front page.
Already they sold the paper.
Apologized on page 4 in the left-hand corner.
They're not putting it in the
needed a magnifying glass to find the apology. So this is the kind of nonsense that we have been dished up. And the sad thing is, as I say, a large part of our people, because this propaganda gets repeated and repeated and repeated, and you know the old story, that when a lie is repeated enough times, it becomes in people's minds the truth. People now say Zuma was corrupt. People say there was 9 wasted years. Honestly, under Zuma, we had the biggest infrastructural development program that this country had ever seen. Under President Zuma, we saw 2 new universities and 1 technicon being built. What has Ramaphosa built? The only thing I saw him doing was going to a gravel road and trying to fill up the gravel road with tar, saying he's fixing a pothole.
The COVID-19
I mean, honestly.
The COVID-19 master.
And what happened you're right, COVID-19, the biggest corruption scandal ever in the history of this country. Billions of rand stolen. And has anyone ever been arrested? Has anyone ever gone to jail? No. Now suddenly all of them suffer from memory loss. They don't know what happened to the money.
It's a pity. Ashley, before we wrap up, I know you still have another question. We're gonna wrap up with that question. I have two. Two. The first one is with the movement ARETA, and for Mr. Carl. My question is Mr. Magashule, also with Mr. Zuma, came to your launch to support you. Did they come to your launch to support you? I'm not saying they are joining the I'm just in terms of support.
Well, I'm sure, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm sure you saw a few weeks ago I was with Comrade Ace outside the Bloemfontein court, where he is constantly taken, but they never managed to get the case going because there's no case. And the media asked him, he said to the journalists, why don't you join? I'm encouraging you to join the movement that Mr. Niehaus started. Comrade Ace is supportive. President Zuma, I went and I sat down with President Zuma and I told him, this is what we're doing. He said, I understand what you're doing. But he said to me, remember my dear comrade, I'm 80 years old. I've been in the ANC my whole life. It's not easy for me to leave. And I said to President Zuma, Baba, I'm not demanding that of you. I have to be reasonable. But I'm coming to honor and respect you by informing you about what we are doing. So that you don't get this as a story in the newspapers, but you first hear it from me. Said, I'm grateful for that. So the relationship is good.
It's good.
And I've deliberately, I could have brought some big names from the ANC to sit on the board already. I've deliberately decided not to do that. Because what I said to you right from the beginning is we need to work. We need to build an organization. That's hard work. I don't want people to come to ARETA because there's a big name there. I want for them to come because of the ideals, because of the radical economic transformation principles that we stand for. I don't want to run a political party in the same way that other political parties are being run. I don't want people to concentrate on any individual. Even when they call it Carl's party, I say, guys, don't do that. It's not my party. It's the people's organization. And the central principle of the people's organization is radical economic transformation. It's not about an individual. One of the biggest mistakes that we make in South Africa is to personalize politics. You know, I must listen to these opinion polls that say, Ramaphosa is more popular than the ANC. If Ramaphosa goes, the ANC will collapse. That's alien to how I understand politics.
The politics.
I've never understood politics to belong to one person. It belongs to the ideals.
You mustn't corner one.
No. We must commit ourselves to ideals. And leadership must be a collective. A collective group of people that work to get those ideals implemented. So that's what I want to do. And that's why I'm not going to go for big names. The big names will join
if they want to.
They will join because they agree with the same political principles of radical economic transformation.
Out of the two, my last one, Ashley, then you're gonna wrap up with yours. It's fine. My last one, I understand the support and the relationship between you and our elders, Mr. Zuma and also Mr. Magashule. It's a good one, as you explain. I like it. But now, here's what's happening. 10 years anniversary EFF. They're doing well. They are pushing. They are the troublemakers. They're always tackling those issues that people don't want to talk about. And now the man Juju, he also seeing himself in the union building already. He set it down. He already has the map to the union building. Do you see him in the forefront leading the country as our president?
I'm not going to speculate about that.
Yeah.
Every politician has the right to have ambitions.
Yeah.
And Comrade Julius has the same right that everyone has to have ambitions. So ambition is not bad. As long as you manage it within the context, as I said, of ideology. As long as you don't elevate yourself as an individual. But you behave and act organization.
Yes.
And as I've said to you,
It's not a one-man show, actually.
we should never have once it becomes a one-man show, we must be worried. We must never have a one-man show. We must always have organizational foundation. You know, I believe that some of the worst mistakes that we made in the period during the negotiations was because President Nelson Mandela, and I love Tata. I worked with him for years, but he became unassailable. No one could criticize him. He was above everyone. And those were mistakes that were made, although he meant well. You know, he went in 1991 to Davos, to the World Economic Forum. And out of the blue, he said, we're no longer going with a program of nationalization. At that stage, he was contradicting the ANC's own economic policy program. But because he was this incredible person on a pedestal, because he was, no one could contradict him. It was accepted. And we are still suffering the consequences of those kind of decisions. So let's avoid that. Yes, anyone can have the ambition, including Comrade Julius. All can have the ambition to become president. But we must never kill ideology. One of the worst things that has happened in our country is we killed ideology. You know, even in the ANC, the reason why the ANC died is because ideology died inside the ANC. Look at what happened at the 55th National Conference. When it was time for commissions where politics and ideology had to be discussed, there was no one in the commission rooms. There was no one there. No one was interested because the only thing that they wanted, they came there, they voted, they collected their bribes, and they left. Even when Ramaphosa was closing the conference, he was addressing a festival of empty chairs. You know, I had to go to Sandton City to meet someone the same time when this conference was going on and these commissions were on. And I found, what's going on here? This looks like, it's almost like the ANC conference here in Sandton City. Everyone is there with the ANC t-shirts and their tags. Then I walked past, I walked past the Louis Vuitton shop. There's a queue of ANC people there. Really? They're queuing to go and, especially the ladies, they're queuing to go and buy handbags with the bribes they got for having voted for Ramaphosa.
Is it the corruption that I'm talking about?
No, but there it was on display.
It's everywhere.
But you see, that is the death of ideology. Because now instead of being in the commission to talk about what must happen with regards to the land, what must happen with regards to proper education, how do we provide services to our people, those delegates who've been sent there to deal with those issues are busy buying Louis Vuitton handbags. What nonsense is this?
And it's not even our local brand.
That image for me is the image that summarizes for me the sad reality that the ANC is dead.
Actually,
no, you know, Mr. Carl said a lot, but then I'm happy because he has managed to expose the corruption.
Especially most of the area.
You see, and then there's something I've noticed about Mr. Carl. You know, Mr. Carl, there is something I've noticed about you, that you love black people more, and it's not fashionable for white people to love black people. I just want to understand. I just want to understand why.
I feel like I'm talking to the black man.
You see,
inside.
Same thing applies to me. You know, I just want to understand why you love black people like that? Because, like, honestly speaking, it's not fashionable for white people
At the age of
to
19,
love
at the
black
age
people.
of 19, he joined the movement of black people.
Imagine.
So bravely, so he just joined the movement, and you know the ANC at that particular time being dominated by blacks, and it was that time of the apartheid, but he was never scared.
But besides that, even if you can check the ARETA, the majority are black people. That's why I want him to share with us why he loves black people. So it seems like there is something interesting within Carl. So, Mr. Carl,
Look,
I want you to share with
I
us.
joined the liberation struggle because I hate injustice.
Oh.
Yeah.
In this country, throughout our history,
Yeah.
the people who were really the victims of injustice were black and especially African.
Especially.
So if you say that you want to commit yourself to justice, there's only one way to go.
Yeah.
You must associate yourself and support black and African people's empowerment.
Yeah.
So that's the principle. I'm not trying to be a nice guy. I'm not trying to say that this or that. Simple. Injustice in this country, black people and especially African people suffered injustice.
A lot,
it
and a lot,
continues.
a lot,
Not just in the past,
Yeah.
now.
Even now, yes.
The
yes.
consequences of apartheid continues up to this day.
Yeah.
So I joined at 19 when I realized that.
Yeah.
I stuck to my principles up to this day.
David, up to-
And I will not change my mind.
Yeah.
I will not change my mind that this struggle is first and foremost about the empowerment
Yeah.
of black and especially African people. And if we fail to do that, we fail the liberation project in South Africa. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay, Mr. Carl. And then, I just want to ask you, do you see yourself in future having relationship with Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa?
I don't hate people personally,
Oh.
but I hate what Ramaphosa has done to this country.
To the cup, yeah.
I hate the way Ramaphosa has sold out.
Yeah.
I hate the way he's allowed himself to be used by imperialist
Imperialism,
powers
yes,
and
yes.
white monopoly capitalists
yes.
to do their bidding.
Yes.
So no, I don't see any reason why I should have any relationship with Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yeah.
The man is a sellout.
Yeah, ne?
And I don't associate myself with sellouts.
You made it clear. You made it clear. And this is my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion, Mr. Carl. I hope, because now with the MPO, with the movement, the ARETA movement, the 10 points they make sense to me. This is how I feel. If in future I will love to join whatever party, or I'll have to join the ARETA, or I'll have to join whoever, this is what I would love to see. I think as Africans, let's unite the continent. What Muammar Gaddafi was pushing, although he was misunderstood, but what he was pushing, I think it was the liberation of an African man. And I think if we open our ears and our eyes and we see how the African continent is now, and we unite it, we have one currency, we have one leader, we speak one language as Africans. I think Africa is a powerful continent, and with the minerals, with everything that we are having in Africa, we can be on our own. It doesn't matter whether the skin of our skin color or whatever. We are Africans. Why can't we do away with these borders so that we don't have the tribalism issues and legalize this, so that I can be a free person? I can go to Mozambique. Like now I'm a producer. I do sound. We travel. Sometimes we have problems with paperwork and so on, because now we have to travel with gigs and so on. But now, if we were that free in our own continent, I think it will make a difference to an African man. So, in the future, this is how I see it. Pushing the ARETA and also other leaders, who is EFF, COPE, other leaders from other political parties. If we can look at that ideology, we can make a better Africa in the future.
Look, brother leader Gaddafi was a great African.
Yeah.
And it is a terrible tragedy what happened
To him, yes.
and the way in which he had been betrayed,
Yes.
also by some fellow Africans.
Africans, yes.
The ideal of a united Africa is a great ideal.
Yes.
It is not going to be easy to achieve,
Yeah.
and it will take time.
Yeah.
But the reality that we have to agree with each other about is that this continent is the continent with the most resources. It is, in terms of minerals, the wealthiest continent in the world.
In the world, yes.
But yet it is the poorest,
The poorest, yes.
for its people.
Yes.
Because we mine and we export raw materials.
Raw materials, yes.
Those raw materials go to Western Europe,
Western-
to the developed
They also
nations,
bring it
whether
back
it's
now,
Japan
the
or
expensive
China
stuff.
or whatever,
Yeah.
and the United States, they get beneficiated.
Yeah.
We have to expensively buy them back.
Yeah.
So we are literally being hollowed out,
Oh, yeah.
while the rest of the world benefits from the wealth of this continent.
Yeah.
Those are the issues that we need to address. Those are issues that ARETA stands for.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true, ARETA is now concentrating on the challenges that we are faced with in South Africa.
In South Africa, yes.
But certainly the ideals that we stand for are just as applicable for the rest of Africa. So in that sense, I share the views that you've expressed.
Thank you so much.
That's great. As we wrap the conversation of the day, we gave you a ANC veteran, Mr. Carl Niehaus, who was also a card-carrying member of ANC. So it was a great conversation. I also appreciate the availability of my co-host, Mr. Taj Malak.
Yeah,
It was indeed a great conversation. My name is Ashley Maswening, and I just want to advise you to make sure that you subscribe, you give us a thumb, you also comment on the comment line, because we need your subscription. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel.
And
we love you. We'll always give you what you've been dreaming to or what you've been asking. This is a nice platform for everybody who want to share a story with the people of South Africa.
Yes.
Mr. Carl, thank you very much for giving us an
Thanks.
opportunity.
And
It-
also from me, I wish you well.
Yes.
A great initiative.
Yeah.
And all of the best.
And I'm also
Thanks.
happy because
Thank you, Mr. Carl.
it's not just an ordinary person. Like, he was holding the highest position on ANC. We as #reality with Ashley, we have managed to bring the veteran of ANC. This is quite interesting. Mr. Carl, thank you very much. Enjoy your cup of tea at home. Mr. Touch, you can take a...
It's a wrap for me. It's a wrap for me. I'm happy.
That's great. You can
Let's
eat.
enjoy the coffee.
But there is something I suspect about Mr. Carl. I don't think it's a white. This man is a black man. We lost the conversation.
Man, he's a black man, this guy.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks.
It was a nice conversation.